Alright guys, and welcome back to another episode of Forgecraft 2. As you can see, there's a lot that's been done. There's a lot more that's been done, but I'll go over that in a second. I just wanted to let you know how the cruciform building's coming along. It's not quite done to the standard I want to do it before I start on the rest of it. And this has taken me quite some time. Some of you actually joined me for a bit of a stream where most of it was already done, but I had to put up some walls and things on the inside, and then I mucked around trying to get a Ender.io lightning rod to go. So that's cool. Yeah, what I'll probably do in the future, and I'll let you guys know, so keep an eye on Twitter, is when I'm doing a building session that is not going to be part of a time lapse, then I'll put a tweet out to let you guys know that I'm going to do a building session, and I'll stream it. And then you guys can hang out with me and chill while I build a sweet building. But it's coming along very nicely. It doesn't have a roof, obviously. The roof is going to be the last thing that goes on, I think. There was a couple of mistakes that were made, and I'll go through them. Last episode I was building this bit. Well, let's go over to the bit I was actually building when I started doing it. I was building this so that it was one brick more than these, but you'll see that now this section is in line with this section, because once I actually got down and looked at Google Street View and things, once the cameras were off, I noticed that the bit that made it look like this had come forward was actually more just that there's like a, I don't know what you would call that, a bust going around the top of the building. But then you have the front of it. Also, another mistake that I made is the front of it is pointy. You'll note that on the floor plan, the end of it is squared. So it kind of comes up, goes flat, and then goes down again. It's actually meant to be pointy. But this is what I get for working off a bad floor plan. Same thing again here. I had to shrink the hallway by 1 because this is meant to be pointy too, and I had that rounded off. Also, something interesting that I found out, and you've probably noticed, is there's an outside stairwell here and no wall around it. That's actually part of the building. The building has this kind of, what was shown on the floor plan was this section, this brick pointed section, but in actual fact, what was happening is inside there is this metal stairwell which connects all the floors, like this. So it does actually exist outside. It will have a fence around it, but it is actually an outdoor stairwell. It's pretty cool. But I'm not entirely sure what this bit is like. I don't know whether there's a wall here or a door or what's going on. Because there's just not enough information on the floors for the cruciform building. So yeah. So before we continue doing this for the episode, I want to talk to you about something else that I've been working on. During the stream, I got inspired to play around with the immersive engineering lightning rod, which requires a lightning rod base, which is 9x9 of lightning of these, which take HV capacitors, high voltage wire, electrum wire coils, yada yada, and you need 9 of them, and then you form it into a multi-block and you build steel fences off of it. Now, what I was told was, because it looks kind of silly from here, the higher up the lightning rod goes, the more likely it is to catch lightning. And at the top, part of the mechanics of making a lightning rod in immersive engineering is if you make a giant net out of steel fences, it's more likely to catch lightning as well. So each lightning strike is worth 16 million RF. So this thing is at 500 million RF, and that was filled from a single thunderstorm. And there was a lot more energy to go. This was done maybe I don't know, a tenth of the way into the lightning storm. I actually had to sleep early because Soren was having trouble navigating the world while it was all rainy. And how I did that is I have, as you can see, a witchery circle underneath. And I'm going to set this off. It's not going to work very well because the batteries are full. And I suppose I could empty them actually. Tell you what, I will empty them. Need to make a bunch of trash cans though. So, let's make a trash can. Trash. So there's these new trash cans from Extra Utilities. One's for fluids and one's for energy. I'm going to make a bunch of these. But I need to make this first, which is cobble. 2, 3, 4, 5. And chest. And some stone. Nope. And since that's vanilla materials, that should just get totally learned. And for this I need 2 redstone and 2 gold. 1, 2, and gold. Right. Trash. So you plus you is an energy trash can, which we teach to the tablet. Of course we do. And the reason I'm going about doing this is because it's a lot more impressive when you can actually see the thing filling up the battery. And we want like 5 of them. Let's go with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now this thing will be, each surface is doing 500 RF a tick, so that's going to empty out nice and quickly. I'm just going to sleep. It'll do its job while we're sleeping. Almost half drained already. So that's what, draining 1, 2, 3 million a tick. That thing is so noisy, I'm going to turn it off. There. And empty. Cool. So I'm just going to break these because we don't want them on while the lightning storm is there. In fact, I'm just going to pop them back in there. So we need to charge an attuned stone, for which we need a specific recipe. And then over here, I did this bit on stream, well, some of this on stream, setting up a witch's oven, but then I had to end the stream. So since then, I've done a couple of fume funnels for the witch's oven. I have fumed a couple of different kinds of saplings, and I've built this altar with a distillery and whatnot. And this tree has burnt down because there's a cauldron directly below it. But my altar's at 6,900, and there's a trick to that. If you have Computercraft and Witchery in the same pack, a player's head, it's not recorded on the website for some reason, but your total altar power, which is this number, gets a 1 times multiplier if you stick a skull on your altar, gets a 2 times multiplier if you put a wither skull on the altar, and a 3 times multiplier if you put a player's head on the altar. Now, if you have PvP turned off on your game, or you're playing single player but you need a player's head, you can use Computercraft, because you can make a Dan 200 head out of a wither skull and a computer, and that's how I've done this. Because I don't do any of the pranking or PvP on the server, so now I have lots of altar power. So remember that trick if you have Computercraft installed. So we need this circle, which is a 7 by 7 and an 11 by 11 circle, and you throw in this stuff and an attuned stone. I don't need to back away actually because nothing dangerous happens, but you get an attuned stone. And I need some wood ash. And an iron sword. And the reason I'm doing this one, there is lesser versions of what the ritual that I'm doing, but this one summons a natural thunderstorm, and it needs to be a natural thunderstorm because Blue Sunrise, the programmer behind immersive engineering, was smart. He knew that people could use something like a twilight portal or a unattuned ritual stone. Is it an unattuned? Imperfect ritual stone from blood magic to summon lightning whenever they wanted it. But in witchery, this circle plus a iron sword and a attuned stone wood ash, and fire it up, and you will get a natural maximum thunderstorm. So this is all fake lightning at the moment and isn't actually being used. But once the thunderstorm itself starts, we start to get a huge amount of RF. 16 million RF a tick. So the thunderstorm that's going on at the moment is a like the thunderstorms in Minecraft, they're not just one setting. You can have bigger or smaller thunderstorms, and the ones that the witchery summon are the ones that are just maxed out. And every so often here you'll see just blasts of RF go through, and that's the lightning net being struck. So yeah, you get 16 million per lightning bolt. And since the thunderstorm will go on for quite some time, it's an enormous energy thing, and it's like, to me, we're going to have some fun, because I'm going to incorporate this thing into this build, and that's probably going to be our power source for the base. The idea being that rather than our power source being the lightning rod running all the time, like you would with a normal power generation system, we instead base it off an enormous buffer, and whenever we need power to fill up the buffer, we just start some thunderstorms and let it fill up, and then we just let the base run off the huge buffer. So that's what we're going to do there. But in order to do that, we need a base. And that one isn't quite done, so let's get on with that. I think it's still daytime. Nope, it's nighttime, so I can end the storm by sleeping. This is what I had to do for Soren. As you can see, that thunderstorm didn't go on for very long, and it's already mostly full. 272,000. I needed to build. Right, I need bleached bone brick, because somebody, now please again, forgive me because I'm always so bad with names, but somebody on Twitter sent me through a link that showed me some inside shots of the Cruciform building, and it's all very much the same depending on where you go in the building, but it's this kind of let's go to a lower floor where it looks more complete. The walls are this kind of like white brick tile that goes over the upper part, and the bottom part has like this quite thick stripe of red brick, and then here on the top, and it would normally be here as well, you would have this kind of colour running through as a stripe separating the white and the brick, but I've had to make a compromise and only put it on the bottom of the windows. Speaking of the windows, I'll probably want to explain those to you. For the windows, in order to create this kind of recessed look to the windows, as you can see they're pushed back from the actual wall itself, I've had to use multi-blocks. So on this side it's a brick texture. On the top it's the bleached bone, not bleached bone, sorry, this is sandy. And on this side this is brick. And it's the same again for here. You got brick on this side, bleached bone here, and bleached bone there. And that creates the facade of the 1 block space. And it acts as 1 block as well, so it's not going to interrupt with anything or make building around it strange in any way. Because I don't want to use microblocks too much in the build. I probably will for the outside of the building, but not for the inside, because once again, part of what I try to do in my builds is make sure that they're as functional as possible while still looking good. So part of doing that means that I need to make sure that the inside of the building still works like Minecraft. So yeah, we should get on with doing this stuff. Although I've already done it wrong because I want to do that. And I don't want to do that. So this part of the building will actually be 1 part thick, except for this spot here, which needs to be all bleached bone. And the inside of the building is looking very bare and barren at the moment. Part of that, I think, is the fact that I don't have the proper information to be able to know what the inside of the building is like. And the other part of that is that we haven't moved into it yet. We're not putting these floors to use, so they just don't have anything in them. And something else that I'm missing from these floors, actually, that I missed from the floor plan, is that I'm meant to have, in this wing anyway, I'm meant to have 4 brick pillars, kind of like here, 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 and here, right? So like almost like the corners of a square sitting in the middle and going through every floor. And here we have the, in here is the bits, the sub-building, if you remember the floor plan. You had the sub-buildings coming out, and that's the first thing we built last episode. It's 3 stories tall, and you access them diagonally from inside the floor, except for the top floor, which has a door leading outside. And now the answer for having a diagonal door, I think, is that I'm going to use a Tinker's Mechwork, because I like using these things. I've used them before. A drawbridge, and you can face them upwards, and it pulls and retracts whatever you have designated for it. The reason these bits don't have a roof is because I'm deciding what I want to actually have for the floor, because it needs to look good as a roof as well as a floor. Now I could do the whole thing as microblocks, but I'd rather not, so I need to come up with a compromise there about what I actually want to use for the floor, which I'm actually debating using smooth stone, to be honest, because that might work quite well. But we need to put these walls up. And right there, actually, once I get rid of that block, you can see how I've been doing things. On this side, brick, on this side, brick, and then on top would be sandy, and I haven't done that yet. And here is brick, and then I would have bleach bone there, and bleach bone opposite this. And yes, that window is off center. There's a very good reason for that. It's because on the actual plans for the building, the wall is off, the window is off center too. And it's weird, but in keeping with trying to keep the building as accurate as possible, where I can, I've decided to keep things a little bit off center. As you can see, 2 on the right, 1 on the left. It's still a bit more than I would like, actually. This gap should be shorter, but that would mean too much compromise in other areas that I didn't want to have to do. But yeah, we'll just keep going, putting in these bleached bone walls, and I shall return. Okay, so I'm back. We have mostly the inside of this building how we'd like it. The only thing I haven't put in again is the pillars, but those are easy enough to put in later. And you're probably wondering, well, where do you actually enter this building? Well, the wing is just one part of the building. The main entrance to the building is actually here, with this being the wing, so that we'd need some sort of indication that there's a path coming out here. But what I'm going to do now is, for now, the entrance to this wing is here. It's the how you'd enter the wing normally from this area. But what we need to do for that is we need to install the windows, and for the rest of the wing, that is. And I have come up with a little bit of a trick, and you probably saw it earlier in the video. But these windows are the kind of window that you have where you slide it up or down in order to close it, and they're big heavy things, and they have like a weighted pulley system in the edge frames, and I've kind of indicated it with these. This is light glass and this is stone frame glass, both of them chisel, and in some cases, like on the inside here, I've made it look like the window's been pulled down a little bit by making this area bigger than this one. So that's pretty cool. But we can start putting glass in if we'd like. And what I've been doing for now anyway is I've just been putting all of the outside windows as the same ones, which is the 4 light on the bottom and 2 stone frame on the top, just to make it look like they're completely closed. We can muck around with making things look more unique later. That's what I figure anyway. But there's a lot of windows to install. So I'm going to get to that. Okay, now that that riveting series of Windows installations have gone and been done, although I missed those two, I'll do them later. The one thing that I want to do now is I want to move the junkyard into the building. I think that's what we're going to do for the rest of the episode, because I want to actually start living out of this thing, so I'm closer to it for doing the things that I need, basically. It is the simplest way to explain why I want to go and move into it. But also it gives me an idea of how things are going to fit in the future as well, which will also be its own boon. So we need to start somewhere. So where do we start? Well, barrel moving is always fun. So let's do some barrel moving. Though I can only move one at a time right now. Oh, that's going to be tricky. Put the barrel down. Let's move the Thormic Restorer. That's a good place to start, I think. I'm just going to put this brick back so that I have some more inventory space. Moving day is always fun. I have to try and figure out things on the fly. Didn't really have a plan for what I wanted to do when I wanted to actually get down to moving this stuff. Okay. It's one thing. So we're just probably going to, at this point, occupy the bottom floor of this wing. Just to make things easier. And it's also going to be a bit of its own junkyard in here, I'm afraid, until I can sort out where things need to go and figure out where in the wings is the Forgecraft area, what's the IE area, that sort of thing. Because we are going to be doing all of that, that's for sure. I want you guys to face a different direction, I think. I want you to face this way. And I want that there. Oi. Oi. And that sticks out just like that. You in here, you in here. Now those are empty, so they should fill up. And I basically just hold my breath and hope. Yep. That worked out perfectly. Your instrumentum. And that's meant to be Motus. I have to break this first before that happens. There we go. And you are Motus. And this needs to be facing the other direction. This is the thing that I hate about the Thormic Restorer. You need to face this little square bit toward a pipe, but the pipe gets placed toward you, which is not very functional. So there we go. We have Thormic Restorer in its proper place for now. Now we need to move the other stuff. I think basically starting with the shack is the best place to start. Take it down from the roof down. There we go. Let me just kind of go nuts on this. Whoa. There is some sweet, sweet lag going on, huh? I think the others on the server might be up to no good. There is a particular person who is usually up to no good. Chateau de Rorax has unfortunately met its final days. Being demolished for bigger and better industries. Oh man, this lag. By the way, something a lot of people don't realize is there's two different kinds of lag, which you learn if you play on servers a lot. The kind of lag you keep seeing where things keep popping back into existence, that's latency. That's where the server falls out of sync with with the game client. So the server is somewhere else in the world, or potentially on a different computer or something, and the client is your computer. And latency is when the server somewhere in the world doesn't communicate properly, or isn't able to communicate properly. Like right now, I can't place down, there it goes. Can't communicate properly with the client. And you won't see any kind of graphical lag when that happens. It'll just seem like the game isn't responding properly. Whereas on the other hand, lag, as it's traditionally known, is when you have your computer cannot physically keep up with what the game or program is demanding of it. And that's when you'll start to see things where, and I can't give you an example right now because it's running quite well, where the frame rate dips and things seem to kind of like not look right. The game will be responding correctly, you'll be firing your weapon when you're firing your weapon, or you'll be placing blocks when you want to place your blocks, but you won't see all the intermittent information. Like, imagine an arrow flying through the air. You'll see the arrow start to fire and you'll see the arrow land, but you won't see anything in between. And that's graphical lag. That's machine lag. It's caused by your computer not being powerful enough. And the reason I'm talking about that is because I've had a couple of people say, oh, your game is so laggy. What's your hardware? And it's like, no, that's a different kind of lag you're looking at. Or if I'm talking about maybe some stuttering will happen in one of my videos, and I'll mention that stuttering, and then someone in the comments will say, oh, well, the server really needs to be upgraded. It's like, no, the stuttering is actually my machine not handling Minecraft very well. Or in some cases, Minecraft not handling my machine very well. Which is most of the cases, actually, unfortunately. Minecraft does not run particularly well. For what it does, it is. So, yeah, two different kinds of lag. Try to remember that. You've got your hardware lag, your machine lag. That's the kind of lag you experience in single-player games where things visually go a bit nuts. And latency, where things just won't respond. Even though things seem to be running smoothly, they won't respond properly or on time. And that's where your server isn't communicating well with your client. You can live right there. Cool. But we've managed to get the chests out. Just need to move the bed, and it's nighttime, which is great. Hopefully no one will sleep, because that'll get me an opportunity to move the spawn. Give me that. We can sleep right here. This is latency. Any second now, there we go. Also latency, because I've clicked and I'm waiting for my character to jump into bed. So yeah, in Minecraft's case, latency can be caused by all sorts of things. And I did a video a while back explaining what some of those things are. But I expect what's happening at the moment is one of those two are probably travelling the world looking for something. And that causes a lot of lag because the server needs to create new chunks. And to do that it needs a lot of resources, so it takes it from different places, including other players. There you go, teleporting around, that's latency. And the chateau is gone. And this stuff can just be picked up. Oh, this pickaxe is so good. It's too good, actually. Why, thank you. And this stuff too. That stuff's easy to move. What else is easy? Very easy. You're easy. All of this stuff is kind of easy. Oh, but I filled up my inventory already. Too many different things. So the next couple of episodes I think will be centered on doing the hub, which is this bit that connects the 4 wings. The reason being obviously because once that's done we actually have an entrance to the building, and the connecting the wings will be make a lot more sense, because the wing just sitting out here by itself looks a bit funny. Although it could be a building all on its own, really. I need some light in here. Doop. Yeah, crafting table. We'll stick the tool stuff over here. That builder. Oh right, the other one's on the ground. Totally forgot that I was carrying around the typesetting table and stuff. Go me. Bong. Ink. Is there anything else? Don't really need the calcinator or the LUL, but I'll set them up anyway. I haven't used them in a very, very long time. Okay, workbench. That was from when I was making my Thalmic Restorer. We've got an ender chest to put somewhere. This is the one that's got linking books to digger in it and stuff. Just the communal chest. Enchanter. A vanilla crafting table, because it makes certain things easier. A wooden door. Well, I'm going to need doors in the future anyway. Door. I've got barrels for that stuff. And books, right. Books go here. Cool. Let's grab a few more things. I know this episode is so just all over the place, but it kind of needs to be. Need to fill some gaps. So not too much has changed between episodes when I show you them, because that would be bad. Alright, this bit's going to be a bit tricky. I'm going to need to... do you have much room? You do. Move this stuff into here for now. These are my tools. Okay. Oh, they've changed it. It doesn't spill patterns everywhere anymore. That makes things a lot easier. A lot easier. You go there, and oh, I put it in the other chest. Moving gets easier once you actually just start moving. Things tend to move themselves after a while. I recently understood that, because now that I'm in the new place, the moving process wasn't too bad, moving to this new one. There's a couple of hiccups along the way, but I don't think there's any time that you move house in life and it goes off absolutely perfectly. That would be the greatest luck in the world. In your my miscellaneous chest, you can just go here. Research table. Yeah. Bump. All the main stuff has nearly been moved. Basically, I just need to move that chest and the tablet and we'll be good. And I think I'll call the episode there, actually, after I've done that. Oh yeah, this breaks into half slabs. I knew there was something about half slabs. And this is my fox tater. It was gifted to me by Blue Sunrise. He was briefly on the server last night. And that's our tablet's new mascot. So I need to take these, and I need to... Oh my god. Behave. I guess these ones are different. I can't stack them. Well, you go there. We know that for sure. And now I don't have any ash infused stone. This can just pretend to be a tablet somewhere. Like right here. And I've got lots of nether stars on me and trash cans. And gold. And fox tato. Fox tato. It's a potato with a foxtail and fox ears. And it loves me. What to do about this though? That's gonna be... because I don't have chalk. I think I threw that away. I'm gonna have to make some new chalk and some new ash infused stone. Oh well. Well, now that the stuff is moved here, next time you come back I'll have moved the rest of the junkyard into this wing, including the spawner and stuff, and the brick factory, and we'll go from there. We'll start on the hub next episode, I think, and we'll go from there. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.